Grow, Sell, and Retire is the podcast for the lazy overachiever. B.D. Dalton, author of True Gravity and Grow, Sell, and Retire, is here to give you his 25 years of secrets, tips, and systems to take your business to the next level. This is your chance to find out what is working in sales, marketing, and running your business. If you stop learning, you stop burning. Now, here's your host, BD, with today's GSR podcast.
Hey everybody, BD Dalton here on the Grow, Sell, and Retire podcast. We've made it over 50 episodes now. Now it's 51, episode 51. And this is going to be about making sure that we have killer sales meetings. And this is really funny because I was in quite a few sales meetings this week. So we had a couple of deals that closed, looking at purchasing a couple companies, looking at making sure that we got some more sales in the current companies, when the law firm and the financial advice firm, and making sure that everything else was coming together. But the funny thing is I stepped back because I was talking to a couple of the people that I was in the meetings with that were thinking that they were killers when it came to sales meetings, that they weren't the typical accountant, the typical salesperson, the typical whatever it was, and they came in full force, full frontal attack on these clients or the people that they wanted to do the deal with. And I just sat back and watched. It was like a train wreck, some of it. And I want to make sure that you on the Grow, Sell, and Retire podcast are becoming this lazy overachiever, the person that does it better, more efficiently, faster, with less work. And this is where I really want to make sure that you have the tools in your hand to have an amazingly killer meeting. When I was speaking with Jeff Belcora, talking about amazing questioning skills, the very first thing that before you sit down, and you want to have all these things in order, but the very first thing when you sit down with somebody, you'd say, hello, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith, it's great to have you here. Jeff Belcora says, did you make any notes on your way to the meeting or prior to the meeting that we should address? So, did you make any notes prior to this meeting or before this meeting that we should address? And then the number one key fact after that, or factor after that, is sit back and listen. You can engage the listening, but mean that you would sit back and go, yes, okay. But the big thing is, if you come in after that, while you're listening, you say, do you mind, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if I take notes during this? Because in case anything is very, very important, I want to make sure that we can address that later on in the meeting, or that we can come back to it later if it's something that I need to dig a little bit deeper on. So once you've sat back, once you've listened, once you've asked, did you make any notes prior to this? What you want to do is you want to make sure that you present an agenda, which is that snapshot right in the middle of everything else that's going on. And the agenda says, here's what we're going to do. And if you're very efficient, you've sent out this agenda beforehand and you've asked them, would there be anything else that you'd like to add to this agenda ahead of time? And this is great because I want to make sure that you are able to take those notes and present this agenda so that you can get through all the things that you need to get through to make sure that you're having a killer meeting. So the agenda should have an address of anything else that you've talked about before, a little bit of a look at their goals or things that you knew that were going to happen, why you think that you're there, and make sure that you've built in anything else that they've filled in the question. But the agenda should have specific bullet points. And guess what? You should have already set a time limit. So the agenda should stick to a time limit. And that time limit should be something that's memorable and something that you can think about. And guess what? You're not looking for an hour. You're looking for 45 minutes, or you're looking for an hour and 15 minutes. You're looking for 25 minutes. Whatever it is, you want to make sure it's fast. The quicker and more killer you can make these meetings, the better off they are. Because you can come in and address all the rest of the questions later at another date, via email, on the phone. But if you want to make sure that you are closing, and you will ABC, always be closing, then you want to make sure that you've got that time limit. That time limit is so concise that they don't get time to get bored. They don't get time to wander, think about something else. they really need to be focused on the agenda that you've given them. So once you presented the agenda, you've sat back, you've listened, you've brought all this stuff to the table. Guess what? You're going to read back some of their answers, not word for word, but you can say, what I heard you say that was important to you is this, this, and this. What I felt I heard you say was this, this, and this. How I believe that we can make this come together would be this. You notice all the language there. It's got to be we's, it's got to be the feeling, it's got to be the sentiment. And sometimes when you are just presenting something that's killer, you say that this is the solution you need for that problem. Solution, everybody says, well, we're solution providers. We're not this. We're solution providers. Solution providers is so last year. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure that this isn't a killer sales meeting. Let's twist it up a little bit and call this a killer assisted purchase meeting. Assisted purchase is they didn't know that they needed what you've come to sell them or you've come to introduce them to. But now they know. Now they know how it's going to change their life, make their business better, save them time, save them money, or make them more efficient so they can be lazy overachievers. So now that you've read it back to them, done all that stuff, and guess what? You need to present a timeline to follow up with them on. Present that timeline that says, okay, now we've agreed this. Here's what's going to happen. If they bought from you, amen. And if they've said that, and you're going to say, well, this is going to happen. This person's going to call you. This is going to happen. And you're going to get delivery in this. Or the next thing that's going to happen is this form, and this form. The next thing that's going to happen is this. You need to make sure that they understand what the goals are after this meeting for the follow-up. And you want to make sure you get in there and you get in there well. So you're now in possession of the tools to make sure that you have a killer assisted purchase meeting, not a sales meeting, assisted purchase meeting that makes sure that you can really drive it home. So I've got some great things. I've got the Grow, Sell, and Retire book. I've got the True Gravity book. Grow, Sell, and Retire is all about putting those implementations in place to make sure that you have a better life, a better business, and have more time to do the things that you really want to do. True Gravity is the opportunity for you to learn how to measure and evaluate your networking. I've got this podcast going on. I've got 50 other ones to listen to. So if you like this one, if you didn't like it, then just keep listening and you get more, because sometimes it's just not the right one for you. But there's some great ones in there that you can bring in, especially the interviews. Oh my God, go listen to Shane Snow, go listen to Jeff Belcora, go listen to Kevin McPherson. Make sure that you're listening to all the people that I've brought to the table for you. If you want to bring us in, I've got the team. We can do Grow, Sell, and Retire for you. We've got sales presentations or assisted purchase presentations for you. Also got sales and marketing stuff with Dr. Marketing and Mr. True Gravity. You can listen to that podcast on Spreaker also and on iTunes. I want to make sure that you're bringing me out so that I can take you to your next level. I've got my team that can help you do that with systems, IT, marketing, all sorts of stuff. Make sure you're listening to us. Go to the website, www.bartdaltonconsulting.com. You'll hear it in the outro, but make sure that you are focused on bringing that agenda and bringing true differences and true next levels to your clients. This has been BD Dalton for the Grow, Sell, and Retire podcast. Looking forward to hearing you or listening to you or having you listen to me very soon. All the best. BD Dalton, over and out. Go be a lazy overachiever.
Thanks for joining us on Grow, Sell, and Retire. For more information, tools, or to book one of our team members to work with your team, business, or to speak at your event or conference, visit bartdaltonconsulting.com or email contact@bartdaltonconsulting.com. Buy the book True Gravity on Amazon. If you want to work for the rest of your life, that is your business. If you don't, that is ours.